Hi everyone, welcome to the All Homesteading Knitting podcast. My name is Natalie and I thought I would jump on to share with you what I've been knitting on this month and what I've been doing. So this month I have a couple of very small finished objects but lots of WIPs. So let's get into the WIPs to start with, shall we? So let's start with so this is the, this is the modern Mudcloth sweater by Chin Matthews. This was my entry for the Black History Month craft along, make along, and as you can see, this is quite an involved colourwork, all over colourwork sweater. So, you know, I've made peace with the fact that this is going to be quite a long-term project. So yeah, but this is what I've done so far. So as you can see, what I'm showing you is the front. So I'm actually working two separate charts for the colourwork. So you have one chart for the front colourwork and then a separate chart for the sleeves each side, and then back to a different chart for the back. So it's not really a portable knit, it's very much chained to my desk as I follow the two completely different charts. Yeah, I am enjoying the knit, mostly because I really love the yarns that I'm using. So I'm using black woolly knit cone and also the cream nip. So I wasn't really sure how the cream would come up with using black and white colourwork. However, then you can't really see the nips in the cream, so I think it was a good choice. And these two cones have been a stash mainstay, so I didn't actually have to go out and purchase any yarns. I'm really happy with the thickness, so it is going to be quite a warm knit. I'm not sure how long it will take me to finish, but I'm happy knitting on this and slowly seeing the progress. So I'm quite excited to see how I'll be able to style it, and I think it will be a great addition to my wardrobe. So that's my first WIP. Just make sure that I put the beginning of round marker. So that's the first. A random doodle, I'm going to say. It's a random fuzz doodle. So this sweater is loosely based on the No Frills sweater by Petite Knit. But I decided to try to knit as much of my stash as I can this year. So I have a box here where I keep all of my random skeins of mohair and alpaca. So it's my fuzz box. Anyway, so I had quite a lot of like this dusky pink skein left over from when I knitted a ranunculus for my mother-in-law. So I thought I would make a fuzzy sweater using some random skeins to experiment with some of the colours. So as I've spoken about before, I really like the combination of pink and green, and I have these random skeins of fuzz. So I have this light green alpaca silk that I received in a Lucky Dip bag from a yarn store in Sweden, Hans in Varberg in Sweden. And so this was unseen, so the contents of the bag was unseen. I think I do an unboxing in one of my previous videos from last summer. So yeah, and I didn't really know how to use this skein because it's quite, you know, eye-catching. So, and I only have the one skein of it. So I thought it would be cool to use some of it in this sweater. So I have, like, you know, as I said, it's a doodle. So I decided to do a split hem, which you can see on one side here. And yeah, so it's a bit of a mess because I haven't actually nowhere near finished it, but you can see my progress. So this is how the split hem would look on the front. It's looking quite messy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So that's that. It's very light, and I think it will be, you know, one of those sweaters that I can take in, you know, out with me or keep, you know, in my bag because it folds up quite small. So yeah. Okay, so the top is made from a random skein of pink and white color, pink and white mohair that I bought from a local company called the Fibre Fox, and I bought that from a yarn festival, and it was this very delicate pink, dusky pink mixed with white mohair. And I only bought the one skein because at the time I was shopping and I was just like, oh, that one skein looks really nice, I'll try that. And it was a mini skein, so it was like 25 grams, if that. So I couldn't really do much with it. I had it in my stash for like, I don't know, for like 3 years or so. And then I finally decided to use it randomly in this sweater. So that's what you can see up top. I very quickly ran out of the yarn. I emailed the company to ask if she happened to have any more skeins of this. She didn't. In my stash, I also had some drops alpaca silk with the dusky pink and the white, and put it together. I thought it made quite a nice colour match. Well, this is the front. So obviously I'm now working flat because of the slits. So I've done the back, and now I will continue to do the front, but I didn't really have the brain capacity with the different colours, so I just continued knitting on the sleeve. So yeah, so that is my second WIP. I'm just calling it a doodle sweater. Okay, so my third WIP. Oh, let's go to do these. Okay, so my third WIP are the Painted Brick socks by Stephen West. Okay, so I really enjoy knitting the socks. I decided to knit up another pair. This is like my second pair of these socks. These need a clean, but these were the first, and I wear them all the time. They're very cozy, such a nice pair of socks. And these were, the main colorway here was just a, you know, stash mohair, no, not mohair, sorry, a stash skein of wool and nylon. Is it wool and nylon? Yeah, so this is by West Yorkshire Spinners, the main colourway, and the colours, different colours, are just made from scraps. So I really enjoy this pattern as a, God, I've got fibre everywhere. I really like this pattern as a stash buster. So as you can see, I have a box that I'm working through with either little scraps and tiny skeins that oh, here it is. This is the skein that that I used to create this original sock. That will go straight into my laundry basket after this video. The only problem with this pattern is that there is a mistake in the pattern. And I have checked this over and over again, but if you have a look at the sample pictures, the socks look perfect. Like the socks look like, because it's painted bricks, so you would think that these bricks shouldn't really line up. Like you shouldn't have this you shouldn't have this like line of cement. You shouldn't have this line here, right? And it's really annoying because I have been blindly for this sock and for this the same, right? And oh, this one looks a bit better actually. Maybe I had worked out the problem. Oh no, on this side you can see there is still that line. So these bricks should not line up. And it's annoying because for this I completely forgot, because obviously I knitted these socks maybe 2 years ago or something, and it's annoying because I completely forgot about this, about the pattern, right? There is a mistake. So without giving pattern details away, say you had 6 stitches that make a brick. You repeat that for the first row of bricks, fine. Then the next row of bricks, the pattern says, say, knit 3, which would give you half a brick to get that staggered look. Fine. But then, instead of saying knit 6 stitches for the rest of the bricks in the row, it gives the instructions to keep going. For example, knit 3, knit 6 for the rest of the round. Hence why my sock has come out thus. Weird. But anyway, I still do like this pattern, and I guess for the second sock, so which I haven't started yet, I just have to remember to stagger the bricks and just ignore what it says in the pattern. The yarn that I'm using is some yarn that I bought when I visited Sweden, and it is a Danish yarn. I don't have the ball band, but it is Arwetta by Filcolana, merino wool, and 30% nylon. So should be great for the main yarn for this sock, because obviously I have pearl bump heel, and so that should be robust to keep that into one piece with the toe and the heel. What else to say? Oh, I'm using 2.5mm needles, sock needles of my Chow Goose, and what else is there? And just scraps for the bricks. I just really love, probably those of you who have watched many of my episodes, you know that I love knitting scrappy projects, and yeah, that's my third finished object. Final WIP is the Hallesvik Blouse. It's a Swedish pattern by Wool and Beyond, and this blouse, it's basically a crossbody blouse, and this top got on my radar from watching an episode about work appropriate knits by Easily Knit Influenced, and in her list of work appropriate knitwear patterns, she mentions this pattern by Wool and Beyond, and I thought that the model that they have modeling the sample absolutely bodied the outfit, and I was sold on it. It's a free pattern that I found on Ravelry, and yeah, so this is what I've done so far. It is a slip stitch pattern, and I am using another, well, in a tangle here, of course. So I am using 2 yarns that I bought from Sweden last year. So again, we're using the Arwetta, the Filcolana Arwetta, and what is this? Oh, I'm gonna have to go and find it. Hang on a second. I should have done this in the first place, but so I am using some yak and alpaca by a Swedish company called Jarbo. So that's that. It is like just the softest, and look at the drape on this, right? So I think this crossbody blouse will be soft. The fabric that is knitted up, that is being knitted up, just feels really soft and luxurious. So I am looking forward to having that added. There is just something, I do have a soft spot for wrapped blouses. I just think there's just something very sexy and feminine about a wrapped top or a wrapped dress. So when I spotted that pattern, especially as it's a free pattern, I thought, yes, that's definitely a bit of me. Oh, I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. So this is an old knit. Well, I'm not really showcasing it in the best way, but this is the Novice Cardigan by Petite Knit, and it's knit out of 2 strands of mohair by Elizabeth Paul, and I am wearing my favourite Xena t-shirt because she is just the queen. My husband calls this t-shirt the Screaming Booby t-shirt. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so those are all of my WIPs. I do have a couple of finished objects, so let's go into the first. Okay, so the first finished object is, I did show you this as a WIP in the last episode, and it's just a simple headband. Oh, I forgot to weave in that little minute end here. This is just a ribbed headband that I could wear with my hair up, and it nicely covers my ears when it's cold. So, and this was knit out of the We Are Knitters wool that I had left over from my piano cushion. And it's really cozy to wear. It nicely keeps my ears warm. So that's finished object number 1. Second finished object are a couple of, well, 3 different car accessories. So I decided to make a couple of baskets to keep in the car. I have a very small car that doesn't have a lot of space for the crap that I like to carry around. So I thought I would just knit, just doodle it, literally knit in the round and then close the bottom. But I have written up the recipe, so I will link to it to my blog where I have it, and I'll put that link in the description if you're interested in knitting up some baskets. I also knitted some coasters for car cup holders that are currently in the car, but yeah, you can have a look at those on the website. And yeah, so what do I keep in these, I hear you ask? Wait no more, I will. Right, so this I keep in the footwell of the passenger seat that I could just grab. So I have a spare pair of glasses. I usually also have some sunglasses as well, so that I can just switch them out as I need. I have some mints, I have some paracetamol, allergy tablet, like hay fever allergy tablets. I have some cleaner for glasses. I have a spare scrunchie. I have some body moisturizer that I made. This is lime and chamomile. It's very nice. I also have I also have a recipe for how I make these on my website, so you can check that out if you so choose. What else do I have in here? Oh, guys, right. Okay, so because a lot of you guys I know will be interested in knitwear, obviously, I find, because I'm often wearing wool or cashmere, I do find that sometimes when I'm moving around, for example, when I'm sat on my office chair and then I'm wearing like mohair, I'm wearing wool or cashmere, and I go to stroke one of my cats, or when I've been driving and I get out and touch the metal door handle or something, I get electric, like static electricity, and I really hate it. So I recently discovered this product. So it's called Jewfish. I don't know. But it's an anti-static spray that I have been spraying. I mainly spray it on like my office chair and my car seat. Sometimes I spray it on my clothes, but I find I don't really need to. Doing it on the actual upholstery rather than on my clothes seems to work fine. And it has dramatically reduced the amount of static shocks that I get, because I absolutely hate it. It's like, you know, especially with when you're with other people and then you like jump and like everyone's like, what the hell's just happened? And also my cats, like, they don't know what's happening and they're just like, oh my god, why are you shocking me? So I thought it would be a good thing to have an extra spray in the car. So I've got one that I keep here and one just out with me. You just need to, I'm finding that I just need to do it every now and again and it sorts it out. It's really good. So that's what and I've got lip balm, things like that in the smaller basket that I keep in the footwell at the front. And then I have a bigger basket that I have. So this is the bigger sized one that I have on the back seat. So what do I have in here? I have some feminine protection, because you should never leave home without your menstrual protection, just in case. I have a small first aid kit, a torch, a spare magic tree, an extra shopping bag, some wipes, and, which is really cool, I have a travelling sewing kit just in case I have a wardrobe malfunction. Oh, I also decided, I usually carry those small hand sanitizers, but then I thought, now that I've got a bigger basket that I just chuck and it's not running loose in my car, I just have like a bigger alcohol gel hand sanitizer in there as well. And that will, after I'm finished filming, that will go back into the car and is ready for when I need it. So again, just to, if you are interested in in knitting any of those, I will just check out my website and grab those free patterns. Well, it's not even a pattern, literally you just join in the round and just knit until I say when. The yarn that I used for the baskets, so this is knit from Roving, so it's really nice coloured yarn. So this is the wool by We Are Knitters in the colourway Yarnicorn, something like that. And I've had this, I think my husband got me like a few balls of the chunky yarns like a few years back for Christmas. Can't really make a garment out of this yarn, so I wanted to use it up. So making car accessories I thought would be the perfect way to use up these yarns. And for the most part, I think it's worked pretty well. They look nice, and yeah, I used a 9mm needle. No. Yeah, I used a 9mm needle for the baskets, and for the coasters I used a 5mm needle. The yarn that I used is a yarn called Wool Power Happy Sheep that I bought from Hobbies. So it's a roving yarn, and I have to say, I think I've spoken about this yarn before. So ages ago I found the website Hobby and I thought, oh wow, like all the wool there is really cheap. So I did buy like a few skeins of the roving, of the big balls of like the chunky roving, and I have to say, I find it a nightmare knitting with it. It breaks just with the slightest amount of tension, and it's just a nightmare. So for example, even when you're knitting with unspun yarn, that has a tendency to break very easily, but it's very easily like spit spliced back together, or even just with some tension, it's quite easy to just stick back together because the individual fibers just like literally want to mesh, just like my hair. So I don't have any issue with unspun yarns. Like, you take your time, you enjoy the process. But with this particular wool, like the Happy Sheep wool, I just find it trash. Like, I did want to get rid of it. So the thing is, I think at the time I bought about 6 balls of it, or in different colours as well, because I thought at the time I had a load of hats to make for Christmas as Christmas presents. So I thought, oh, okay, this is like wool, 100% wool yarn. It's cheap, but I think I ended up just using 1 and a bit skeins to make a hat, because I just hated the process because it was just breaking left, right, and centre. So I was like, F this, and I actually sold most of the unused balls on I think on Vinted, and so that's fine. But so I did have like this blue left that I found, in the back of my yarn cupboard, and so I thought, okay, use it up, because I actually I knitted the bigger basket second, so I ran out of the We Are Knitters yarn, so I just used the roving wool power yarns to finish the bigger basket and make the coasters. However, so I've just trash talked the wool power yarn, but I have to say that last spring I knitted a decoy wasp's nest for my garden to prevent wasps making nests on my property, and anecdotal evidence, I think it did work. I did see a slight reduction in wasps hanging around my yard. However, I think that could also be the fact that whenever I am sitting out in the garden, I do tend to use like citronella candles and things like that. So maybe it's just a combination. But the thing is, so point is that this wasp's nest I used, I also used that wool power yarn, and the thing has been hanging up all year, like out in all weathers. In the beginning, I thought, okay, because this is knit out of wool, I will only like hang it up when I'm sat outside or when I'm gardening and stuff, so that like wasps would see it and go like, oh no, like there's another colony there, like let's go to the next garden. I don't think wasps think like that, but anyway, so I was really careful about bringing it back inside, but like, as the weather changed and like, autumn and winter came around, I just got lazy and left it out there. So the thing has been hanging up all year in all weather, and it still looks okay. So for all my trash talking the yarn, and it breaks, when you're trying to knit with it, it's held its own, through all the elements. So like, at least I know that it's a strong it's a strong yarn. So make of that what you will. Anyway, next. So earlier in the month, I went to the 3rd East Anglia Yarn Festival. So I actually have a tiny bit of footage, so I thought I would get more footage. But then in the end, I actually just ended up like putting my camera away and just enjoying the experience of being there. So I will put some footage at the end, so stick around for that if you would like to have a look at my experience. So let's just go through a little bit of what I bought there. Okay, so I am on a bit of a low spend year. One of my goals for the year is to use up my stash. So obviously, I'm going to allow myself to, for example, with my mohair doodle sweater, if I run out of the yarn, did I say that I'm using Drops Alpaca Silk for the pink? So if I run out of yarn in that, So mostly I'm knitting from stash, but obviously sometimes with the best laid intentions, you still have to like buy yarn to finish off projects. So obviously I'm going to account for that. But with my low spend year, I've decided to just document everything that I buy, from like a needle to like a tapestry needle to skeins of yarns to literally everything that I buy for this craft of knitting and fibre art. And I think it would be quite interesting to just make a note of how much I'm spending per month, and document that, and then maybe, you know, put that into a video at the end of the year just to see where my money is going for this craft. Yeah, so I had that in mind when I went to the festival. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to buy something, you know, whatever. It's nice when you go to a festival or an event to get something as a little reminder, a little keepsake for that event. So yeah, but I was very mindful of my spend, and I chose things that struck that were a bit different, and that awakened some, what's the word, some inspiration in me. So I only bought 3 small things. So let's go for the unusual first. So this is a felted pebble soap. Focus. Felted pebble soap by Free Range Fibre. So it's 100% Suffolk alpaca. So this is a very locally produced natural soap company. So the scent is nettle and rosemary, and can act as a soap, and also like exfoliating, like a bath wash. No, not a bath wash. Like a flannel, or you know, like an exfoliator that I could use. So obviously I haven't used it yet, but yeah. So this could be interesting, and it smells very nice. So the scent is, as I said, nettle and rosemary, and you're just, yeah, you're supposed to, when you use it for the first time, you wet it and, you know, work it into a lather and then dry it, and yeah. So let's have a look at what it says. So felted soap lasts longer, does not slip out of your hand, and acts as a natural soft exfoliator. Even better still, the felted alpaca cover is naturally antibacterial, odor resistant and breathable. We use 100% Suffolk alpaca fibre from our own herd of boys. The soaps are made at the Natural Soap Company in Norfolk. If used in your soap, see ingredients list on the band. Palm oil is always from sustainable fair trade sources. How to use, so you just got the directions there. So I thought that this was interesting, so I thought, let's try that out. I probably won't use it in the shower. I'll probably just use it as a hand soap. Not sure yet, we'll see. So that's my first finished object. Okay, so the second purchase from the same stall. So I have to say that going to a yarn festival when you know that you're on a budget, you don't have very much money to spend, is quite an interesting one, because I think, you know, you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice anyway when you go shopping, and how you spend your money and things. But I really did think about, you know, where my money was going, and who to give my money to. And I do feel bad that I've only like supported. So I've bought 2 skeins, but the 2 skeins are from the same company. However, there were a few companies that I have earmarked that are very local that I would like to support, because I think that they are doing great things. I have 2 companies that I would like to support. They are very local to me. There is the Burnt Fen Alpaca Company. They had absolutely lush alpaca skeins. That it's essentially an alpaca farm, and you can go and do yoga and walk the alpacas, etc. So there's like alpaca yoga where you do yoga outside. So I think I might book in for one of their yoga classes. and walking the alpacas and things like that, and then maybe treat myself to one or two skein of their alpaca. So that might be a nice plan. There is also another company called the Wild Woolers, and they have really exceptional skeins from rare breeds of British sheep. So I think it might be interesting to support them. So I have earmarked them, but I decided to buy a couple of skeins from the Wild Field Fibre. So let's talk about this. Okay. So this interesting looking skein is 100% Tencel. So I have been wanting to try Tencel for a while. So Tencel is a Tencel Lyocell, because Tencel I think is the brand name, but I think this actually is Tencel from Austria. So it is a synthetic fibre, but it is made from sustainably sourced wood pulp. It's synthetic in that the fibre is created from like breaking down the wood pulp using a solvent, so almost like viscose essentially. But this is super silky, and when I arrived on the stall, they had a load of different beautiful colorways, but I didn't really want to pay full price for you know, a 100-gram skein that looks so small. So what I decided, so it's 225 meters per 100 grams. So the store had like another area that just had single skeins hanging up of this, and they had like this deal on that when they had just one skein left of their colorway, they almost had like a 60% discount on the skein. So I actually paid £10 for this skein, which I thought, okay, that's doable. And the colorway, actually, no, what happened was, as I got to the store, someone had bought enough of this colorway so that there was just the one of this one left, and it immediately reminded me of like 90s space like music videos. So I thought, okay, I can work with this. And my idea is to make a romanticist bandana with this, because it just feels super silky and lush. So using it as a headband or a bandana for the chest, which will be quite nice. So that's that purchase. And then the second is some this is 85% merino and 15% nylon nep. And the reason why I love this is that it just really captured my imagination, because for me this looks like sheep in a field. Like if you have like an aerial view of sheep in a field, like it just reminded me of this, and I thought this would make some lovely socks, just some plain vanilla socks. So that's what I bought this for. So yeah, so those are my two purchases. Very restrained, but again, I have a couple of companies that I would like to maybe buy some more skeins from, and those were what's it called? Wild Woolers and burnt fen alpacas. So that was that. I really like the East Anglia Yarn Festival. Like I said, this is its third year, and I can see that the popularity of the festival is growing, and I'm happy for Laura, who is known on YouTube as the Lonely Knitter. She works incredibly hard, and I think that the East Anglia Yarn Festival is probably one of the more quiet, subdued festivals, because I think the organizer really takes into account people who have, for example, sensory issues or mobility issues. For example, the aisles are quite wide, so there's, an access is fully disabled access, everything's on one floor. You have ramps going into the building, so it's all very cool in that respect. And it doesn't feel, even though there were probably like thousands of people in one space, it doesn't ever really feel crowded or too in your face, because like I said, the stalls are well organized. There's like lots of space to maneuver within one stall, and I think also you have quite high ceilings at the showground. So yeah, so it is a really well organized festival, which I will be attending in the future. Okay, so maybe what we can do is a bit of a knit and chat. Let's grab my... So, last episode, I did put a call out to you guys on my community tab to ask if you guys had any questions for me. So I'm just knitting on the sleeve. And I got a latent question by a viewer called Sujamaz, and they asked if I had any other hobbies, and the answer is yes, I do. What do I have? What do I do? Okay, so I have I like to grow my own vegetables. That's quite a big hobby of mine. I try to, in the summer, spring and summer, I try to grow enough vegetables to support myself and my husband through the winter. So I I tend to grow a variety of fruits and vegetables and spend quite a lot of time during the spring and summer harvesting them and freezing them, so that we have by the end of summer, so September, October time, we have a freezer full of fruits and vegetables that we can eat throughout the year. So that's quite an important thing for me. So that's my main, and I also try to sort of, incorporate homesteading into my lifestyle. I also do quite a lot of yoga. I don't go to any classes because in the past, like when I lived in Spain, I used to go to a class. This was back when I didn't really have a full understanding of yoga, and I attended a class that my friend was running, and it was a beginner's class, but obviously it was a beginner's class where the beginners had been taking that class for like a few years. They had been taking that class for a few years, so they were pretty strong beginners. And so I was in this class and really pushing myself, not really respecting my body, and I ended up like hurting like the small of my back, trying to push myself to keep up. So didn't really understand what yoga was about back in the day. So that was my experience of doing yoga in public, and maybe I should revisit that. But for me, I really connected with yoga as a private practice, and I use it as as part of my evening routine. It's like winding down from the day. I have my go-tos and I have my flows that I know that I always do. And yeah, I love that. So that's a big part of my life. And music is also a big part of my life. In the past, I played drums in a band. We weren't very good, but just for I was going to say diversion, but that's not, just for fun. So I love playing drums. I used to live in an apartment where I had my drum kit and very, very nice neighbours. So yeah, I don't have a drum kit. I sold it when I didn't have very much money a few years back. So maybe now I do have a garage, and so maybe I should actually get another drum kit and rock out again, because I do miss just regular drumming. But I do play keyboards. Well, no, I'm not going to say I play keyboards. I like to tinker with the keyboards and play, try to learn little ditties, and just play by ear. It's quite fun. So my little tiny keyboard, which is just behind me, and that's super fun. And drums. So yeah, music. I love music. I love playing music. Music is often best played with other people. My husband also plays guitar, so we always like joke that we should like form a married couple band. Anyway, what else is there? So yeah, what kinds of hobbies do you guys have? So if you're so inclined, please put that into the comments. I'd love to know, other than like fibercraft, I'd love to know what you guys are into as well. I was always like the sort of person to like go through phases of like trying lots of different hobbies. At one point I used to love doing coloring books, like adult coloring books, and I bought what's the word, anatomical coloring book that was like super scientific, and my idea was to like try to learn like the obscure parts of the body via a coloring book. Yeah, I think I colored like the first, which was like a skull. I think I colored that in, and then just lost interest. What else have I done? Yeah, in the past I've just had like random hobbies, but I think my first love, like a hobby that I think I don't think I'll ever deviate from, is knitting, because I just get so much out of it. And playing music, because with keyboards, and yeah, with keyboards in the evening, I can just put my headphones on and sort of disappear into my own world, and just play around with the keys. And I think physically it's quite nice, because if I'm not like typing on the keyboard for work, for example, or knitting, it's quite a nice sensation to be able to play music with your fingers. That's it's a nice range of movement for the body. Same with yoga, like when you exercise, I do like to go. I do try to get a workout in at the gym as well, like once a week. But my main exercise like is yoga and walking the dog on a daily basis. That's all I do. But I think it's enough. I mean, just trying to move your body in different ways. You can't just like live. Our bodies weren't designed to like the kinds of lifestyles that we have at the moment, working in offices, working from home, sat in front of a computer, sat in front of another screen. We weren't built for that. So any kind of range of movement is good for the body. So that's how I feel about the about the keys. I think I'm rambling. I think I have to like get some lunch and enjoy the rest of the day. So thank you for spending time with me, and I hope to see you again on another episode. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Hi everyone, it's March the 9th, and I am just about to head down to the East Anglia Yarn Festival. I have a budget, but because I'm doing a low spend month, this is an amount of money that I have allocated myself to use only in the event that I see something extra special that I think would make a great addition to my stash. But otherwise, I am just going there to maybe make some connections, meet some people, and generally just have a great time. So I'll take you along with me, and let's go.